is being pushed to the side, apparently, according to reports by General John Kelly, the chief of staff, which means that Kelly is the guy who's sort of bringing people into the center of the room. And that means that Trump is more likely to reach out to other people that he wants to talk to. If he feels like Kelly is shutting him off from Jared Kushner and that Hope Hicks is going to leave, then he's going to start reaching out to other people he's comfortable with. Well, one of the people he likes a lot, apparently, is Peter Navarro. Peter Navarro, this trade guy. And it's not a coincidence that while all this chaos is taking place, Peter Navarro is suddenly making appearances in the Oval Office and Trump is hanging out with him. You know, people that Trump feels personally comfortable with are the people he's going to want to talk to. And unfortunately, a lot of those people have pretty bad ideas because personal comfort should not be the gauge of whether somebody's policy is good. But the president doesn't know a lot about policy, and he's very susceptible to being told things by people that he likes. So Hicks being out has more of a personal impact on Trump than it does a policy impact. But she is known as sort of the person, she's sort of the Trump whisperer. She's the person who can handle Trump and has been able to hem him in a little bit. Make him feel better about his presidency, make him feel better about things. Her being gone is not going to be a good thing. Again, Josh Raffel, I think it's pronounced Urfel, is a press aide whose initial portfolio is primarily focused on Kushner and Ivanka. And he apparently is leaving also. And apparently Dina Powell is left a few weeks ago. So high turnover at the White House. That means a lot of faces Trump doesn't recognize. As he gets more uncomfortable, he's going to look for friends. And the friends around him are going to define what he does, which is sort of an uncomfortable place. He's meanwhile busily attacking his own attorney general. So yesterday, the president went on Twitter and he attacked Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Right? This I've always found really frustrating. Attorney General Sessions, I've met him a few times when he was Senator Sessions. I think that Senator Sessions is a rock solid red state Republican. I disagree with him on trade. I disagree with him in certain areas of immigration, but he was the very first guy to endorse Trump. I mean, the first major voice to endorse Trump very, very early in the campaign, a real Trump loyalist. And as AG, Trump has just beaten the crap out of him publicly. So this is really in bad taste. One of the things I like about Sessions is that Sessions does have a strong sense of what he is supposed to do as the attorney general, that his job is not to just be the wingman for the president. Now, Trump doesn't like that because he looks at the Obama administration and he says, Eric Holder was Obama's wingman. Why can't you be my wingman? And the answer is because the AG is not supposed to be the president's wingman. The AG is supposed to administer the law. Jeff Sessions actually takes that rather seriously. So one of the areas where this has happened is that Jeff Sessions asked the inspector general to investigate potential FISA abuse. And there's been a lot of talk about FISA abuse, of their supposed abuse by the FBI and the DOJ of the FISA warrant process in the attempt to get a warrant on Carter Page, that former Trump campaign aide, that former Trump foreign policy aide. And Sessions said, listen, I don't want the DOJ investigating itself. I don't want the DOJ investigating the FBI. Let's set somebody else who's independent, because here's the thing. If I, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, come down with the conclusion that the Obama DOJ and the Obama FBI went ahead and invaded the campaign, people are going to note a couple of things. One, I was a member of the campaign. Two, I was appointed by President Trump, and so they're not going to take it seriously. So we'll set up an IG. I have a conflict of interest. Trump doesn't appreciate that, and he wants Jeff Sessions to just do what he wants him to do, which I think is wrong. And so Trump tweets out, why is the AG, Jeff Sessions, asking the Inspector General to investigate potentially massive FISA abuse? Will take forever, has no prosecutorial power, and already late with reports on Comey, etc. Isn't the IG an Obama guy? Why not use Justice Department lawyers? All caps. Disgraceful. No, what's disgraceful is the President of the United States berating his own Attorney General publicly. I assume he has Jeff Sessions' phone number. What does he think is going to happen here? Does he think Sessions is going to quit if he just humiliates him enough? And Sessions knows Trump isn't going to fire him because Trump's been threatening to fire him for over a year. And he's not going anywhere. So he'll just sit it out. He'll sit tight. He'll protect the law. Good for Sessions for doing that. So there's no purpose here other than Trump venting and then mobilizing his allies to vent at Sessions. But maybe that makes his base feel good. Maybe it makes them feel like it's the DOJ's fault that we haven't seen any prosecutions. But again, this is just not only not presidential, it's not effective. Attacking your own attorney general is just bad policy. So in a rarity, Sessions actually fired back. So he actually issued a statement ripping Trump. Good for him. He said, we have initiated the appropriate process that will ensure complaints against this department will be fully and fairly acted upon if necessary. As long as I'm the Attorney General, I will continue to discharge my duties with integrity and honor, and this department will continue to do its work in a fair and impartial manner according to the law and the Constitution. And good for Jeff Sessions. That's his job. That's exactly what he should be doing. So it's an absurdity that the president is attacking his own Attorney General. So very bad 48 hours for the president. It's attacking his own Attorney General, dumping all over gun rights, and then talking about raising tariffs dramatically that would have a serious impact on the economic growth that he's attempting to reach. So very bad 48 hours for the president. And again, I think this is what the president looks like when he's unmoored, which is why you have to have checks in the White House. It's why you have to have good people surrounding him. It's why you need a Republican Congress. If you had a Democratic Congress and a bunch of advisors around the president telling him to do the popular thing with Democrats, this presidency could go sideways very quickly. So while there was talk last week about the president being an ideological leader of the conservative movement, that is not true. The president has governed like a conservative so far. But he's not an ideological leader. He's a vehicle for the conservative movement. That means that if the conservative movement doesn't call him out, if the conservative movement doesn't provide a check when he commits anti-conservative heresies, then there's a possibility that Trump moves significantly to the left. And again, if the Democrats were smart, they would know this. If the Democrats had any brains at all, they would spend all day just praising Trump. It's what they would do. They'd spend every day, all day talking about how Trump is generous, Trump is kind, Trump is wonderful. Right? They'd be like all of the characters in Manchurian Candidate talking about Raymond Burr and what a wonderful, generous human being he is. And Trump would buy that. Because the man doesn't, this is the danger of having someone in the Oval Office who doesn't have an ideology. So far, it hasn't hurt. Those checks and balances have worked. I only hope they continue to work. I'll praise them. I'll praise the president when they do work and when he does the right thing. The last 48 hours has not been that time to do the right thing. Now, speaking of the radicalism of the Democrats, when you look at the Democrats themselves, they have radicalized. So if they were smart, as I say, they'd be triangulating with Trump. They would be attempting to make overtures to Trump. They could probably get half their agenda done with Trump if they did that. But they're radicalizing pretty quickly. So there are a bunch of top Democrats who attended a Louis Farrakhan speech. Jake Tapper over at CNN, who I criticized pretty heavily last week for what I thought was an egregiously awful town hall. And then I praised this week for doing an interview with the Sheriff Scott Israel in Parkland, Florida. He did a tweet storm yesterday that I think is quite good, where he attacked Democrats who attended Louis Farrakhan's speech. It is an amazing thing that the mainstream media think it utterly not worthy of note that Louis Farrakhan, an open anti-Semite, an open racist, and a generalized piece of crap, that this guy is treated as a celebrity by so many top-level Democrats, including Democrats in the Congressional Black Caucus. Here are some clips of Louis Farrakhan talking, and there were Democrats at the speech, top-level Democrats at the speech.
I don't care what they put on me. The government is my enemy. The powerful Jews are my enemy.
Okay, top-level Democrats have praised Louis Farrakhan. They've taken pictures of Louis Farrakhan. Barack Obama took pictures of Louis Farrakhan. There were two co-sponsors of the Women's March who were present at this speech, at this one right here. Okay, and Democrats apparently had nothing to say about that. They will be at the Women's March again. The radicalism of the Democrats, there's a lot of talk about the alt-right in the last election cycle. I think it was fully merited. I was one of the people doing the talking. The Democrats are equally radical when it comes to Louis Farrakhan. They have a blind spot for anti-Semitism so long as that anti-Semitism is coming from parts of the community that are not white. So here is Louis Farrakhan doing more of this. Just really disgusting stuff.
White folks are going down. And Satan is going down. And Farrakhan, by God's grace, has pulled the cover off of that satanic Jew. And I'm here to say, your time is up. Your world is through.
The man's a pig. I mean, he's one of the worst people on planet Earth. Okay, this is the guy who Keith Ellison, who could have been the head of the DNC, he was endorsed by Chuck Schumer to be the head of the DNC. He was a member of the Nation of Islam. He defended Louis Farrakhan for years. The Congressional Black Caucus has defended Louis Farrakhan. Okay, the Democrats are so radical that it's unlikely they would have the brains to actually triangulate with Trump. But their radicalism is also, they're allowed to get away with it. There was a poll yesterday that showed 57% of Americans supposedly think Trump is a racist. It's like 20% of Republicans and 80+% of Democrats. Okay, how many people think that Louis Farrakhan is a racist and therefore the people who associate with him are racist? The reason that people think that Trump is a racist is because of the associations with the alt-right during the last campaign and some of the comments that he's made. Well, if you're going to hold a standard, that standard has to be held on both sides. I don't see a lot of people in the media doing it. Good on Jake Tapper for doing it. Okay, time for that I like. So Nikki Haley gave a speech yesterday at the UN. The Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian dictator, because he is now in the, 17th, let's see, I think he was elected in 2005. So he is now in the 13th year of a 4-year tenure. So that's exciting. He had told Nikki Haley, our UN ambassador, to shut up. She came out yesterday firing. Again, Nikki Haley at the UN is my spirit animal. So here she is.
I sit here today offering the outstretched hand of the United States to the Palestinian people in the cause of peace. We are fully prepared.